today, and we're going to talk a little bit about penny stocks, right? So today, I'm going to talk a little bit about this stock, which not only appreciated by 97% in 5 months only, right? On a year-to-date basis, the stock appreciated by 97%. Number one. Number two, this is really going to blow our minds lah. This stock, this month alone, just in 30 days, it rose by about 47%, right? Interesting fact number two. Number three, this is a Sharia stock. And the fourth thing is that this stock pays dividends, right? So what stock am I talking about? Let me show this to you guys. So this is CCK. And as many of you guys know, if many of you guys have been following me, I've been talking about this stock since the month of Ramadan, right? And this stock, if you look at it on a year-to-date basis, it appreciated by 97%. And then if we were to look at it on a 30-day basis, right, or 1 month basis, it rose by about 47%, right? Just in 1 month, 30 days. How amazing is that? So I'm just going to put it back. So in this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about how I found this stock, number one. Number two, I'm going to talk a little bit about why I bought this stock, right? And the final thing is I'm going to talk a little bit about whether I'm going to keep the stock, right? So as the episode continues, it gets more and more important, right? So I think number one, the key question is how I managed to find stocks like this, right? So as I mentioned over and over again, before this, as an equity analyst, my job is to always read. Every day when I get to the office, I always read all the newspapers in front of me. But I think I want to give you guys a key over here, right? And I want to say that about 80 or 90% of information I read every day, every month, a lot of them is just pure, it was not useful, basically, right? And it was just white noise, basically, right? And if you were to look at the newspapers, if you were to look at any newspaper, right, you'll notice that it will start out with many things like gossip, divorce, like random news, right? And then after that, at the back, it's a sports, right? But at the very middle, right, it's only 3 or 4 pages, right? You will see the business section, right? And amongst the business section, right, which is a 20% of the very valuable news, 20% is very valuable. That being said, out of that 20%, only 5% is very useful, right? So I think amongst the news that you want to look out for is number one, when the government does an announcement, whether they want to actually do a budget, right? So during a budget, you want to see where the government is going to spend their money and where they're going to allocate their funds. That's number one. And number two, which is important news, is what the company or the management of the company, say if the management of the company wants to open a new plant, right? Or they want to open a new manufacturing company, or they want to open a new manufacturing division, right? And increase their sales, right? These are all very good indicators, right? And from these indicators, this is a buy or sell call on a particular stock, right? So, like I said, right, to recap, 80% of news is pure white noise, only 20% is usable, and out of that 20%, only 5% is useful information, right? And from that information, we can take good action. When we get good information, we can take good action, right? So I think what I want to also highlight is that even in the YouTube space, right, you can see a lot of influencers out there, and I can actually when I'm listening to some YouTubers, right, when they talk about stuff and when they actually try to analyze things, right, I could tell, not the best information out there, lah. So I would like you guys, lah, from today onwards, choose information which is very useful, which will really move the stock price, right? And then pick and choose, right? And then when you use good information, this good information will allow you to take good action, right? This is a very key idea for today's episode, right? So I think that's number one, right? How I found the stock, right? And I think when how I actually this particular stock, right? As I mentioned over and over again during my earlier episodes, right? How I actually got to know about this stock was when the government did an announcement, and I think it was during the budget where they said that they want to remove the price ceilings for chicken. So from that small little information, I knew that there were certain companies that will benefit from this, right? And let's move on to section number two, why I actually bought this particular share, right? So I think number one, right, why I think this is for me, is a good buy, right? At least, right, is that this is considered a staple goods, right? So what I mean by staple goods is that despite the price increase for chicken, I notice people will continue buying chicken. So let me explain to you. I think during Hari Raya, and also during the months of Puasa, right? I remember doing a couple of lives, right? And in that lives, I keep on talking about this particular stock, right? And at that point in time, I kept saying that if you go to the Gerai Ramadan, you'll notice that there were things like ayam golek. You notice there's nasi ayam. You notice that there is ayam goreng. There is just so many chicken dishes, right? And you also go to the Bazaar Ramadan. There's also murtabak ayam, right? And I noticed this across the board. So I knew if there is a high supply for this particular protein, there is definitely a demand for this particular protein, right? So when there's a high demand for that particular protein, you know that the product is there's a high sales amount for this particular product. That's number one. I think number two is even during Hari Raya, right? I noticed that even the rendang, right? We can see rendang ayam. We also see satay ayam, right? So I think all in all, right? When I was looking around, I noticed that even though there was the removal of the chicken price ceilings, right? But people still consume this particular protein, right? And for me, this was a green light, right? So that's reason number one why I bought this particular stock. And that's one of the reasons lah. I think number two is that, and I've said it many times lah, right? If we were to buy a business, right, or if we were to buy a stock, right, we always have to remember that we are buying a share, right? And if we are buying a share, we always have to remember that we are a shareholder, or we own a small part of that company, right? And for me, when I know that if chicken prices were to go up, right, when I look at the demand for chicken, despite the prices being higher and higher, I notice people they are inelastic with regards to the increase in chicken prices, and people will still buy chicken, right? So for me, when I saw that despite the prices going higher for chicken and the demand is still there, I knew that this was a very profitable business. So if you were to own a business, I think one of them would be one of the more profitable business would be I guess the poultry business lah, right? And I think the third reason why I like this particular stock is that I want to find companies which enable me to beat the inflation, right? As I mentioned over and over again, right? One of the best investments for us, right, is to actually find an investment which gives better ROIs compared to the inflation number. If the ROI is much higher than the inflation, basically we are building wealth, right? And for me, I think this is one of the players which will enjoy an increase in profits lah as the chicken prices goes up. So for me, it was a no-brainer lah, right? I was like, okay lah, just buy this particular poultry player, right? And yeah, it was one of the better purchases I made lah. And as some of you, if any of you made money from this, please put it down in the comment section, right? I've been talking about it during the Bulan Ramadan, right? And I hope you guys actually made money off this, right? So these are the three reasons why I bought this particular stock, right? I think the fourth thing, moving on, right? I think this is the most important section, right? Whether I would keep this particular stock, right? So typically, I like to take profit lah, right? If there's 100% gains, right? Why not take profit, right? But I think we have to remember this particular thing, right? That this business, if number one, we can see that poultry products is a consumer staple in Malaysia, right? And yeah, and I can see that there's a high demand for poultry products, right? So the business is a very good business. So if you think it's a very good business, and if you think that the profit for this business will continue to grow, why sell that particular business, right? So I think all in all, what I'm trying to say is that I may be maybe increasing some of my holdings in this particular company, as I see that, number one, it is a consumer staple. People will continue to consume it even though there is an increase in chicken prices. Number two, I can see it's very, very popular, right? Especially amongst us Malaysians. And finally, yeah, I want to find an investment which can beat the inflation, right? So all in all, I like this particular stock, and yeah, just if you guys have any questions, just kind of put it down on the comment section, right? If not, put it down in the I guess in the live chat or in the comment section, right? And I will definitely get back to you guys. So yeah, with that, I don't see that many questions. I want to wish everyone happy holidays. Right now is the school holidays and whatnot. So I just want to wish everyone happy holidays and happy trading, guys. With that, take care. Hope to see you guys in the next episode. Take care. Bye.